a cat, a tub of water, and then prepares to send himself to hell. He puts his foot into the basin of water. As fixed on the cat in his hand, the cat becomes quiet under his gaze. Then the cat's pupils begin to thin. In the blink of an eye, Constantine was really in hell. It was a place of wreckage. There were countless ghosts waiting for him in hell, but Constantine simply ignored all the ghosts. Because he was used to all this, it's not the first time he's been here. Constantine grew up with eyes that could see ghosts. He chose to end his life at the age of 15 because he was suffering from visibility. He died 2 minutes on the way to the hospital. Since his act was a blasphemous one, so he went to hell. That's when he learned that heaven and hell really existed. And when he returned to earth, he vowed to go to heaven when he died. So he became an expert in exorcism and specializes in helping those who are haunted by evil spirits in exchange for his ticket to heaven. That day, he took on another job. Constantine followed a tip to a residential area. A mother's daughter was possessed by an evil spirit. Constantine took one look at her at the door. Then he went over to the window and pulled down the curtain. The demon was in pain. Then he pressed the exorcism seal firmly on the girl's head. A puff of white smoke came out of her forehead. After a violent struggle, the demon stopped moving. Constantine went to her chest to listen to the movement, but the demon reappeared. He was so frightened that he knocked her out with a punch. It seems that this is a bit tricky. He immediately asked the people around to bring a mirror and reminded them that no matter what happens, you must not open your eyes. Then he blindfolded the girl and began to recite a spell. At this time, a middle-aged man did not care about his words and took a look, so his hair immediately became white. At that moment, the demon seized the opportunity to free a hand. Constantine tightly covered the girl's eyes until the demon appeared in the mirror. While the demon was mesmerized by his own beauty, Constantine raised his middle finger. Then he pulled the mirror out of the window. The demon and the mirror fell to pieces. The girl finally regained consciousness. Constantine saw a painting in the room and realized the seriousness of the situation. It was a spear of destiny, which had stepped Jesus. On the other side, in a ruin in Mexico, a homeless man found a treasure. He opened the package and found the spear of destiny. Then it was as if he had been summoned by something, and ignoring the cries of his companions, he just walked westward. A car hit him hard. The car was destroyed, but he was lying there, unharmed. His hands also appeared mysterious symbols. This seems to indicate the arrival of some kind of power. Then he ran away very active and fast. At the same time, the same symbol appeared on the roof of the hospital in the hands of a woman. Then she jumped down. Constantine even coughed up blood when he got home. It turned out that he had terminal lung cancer. He had been smoking 30 cigarettes a day since he was 15. He asked the doctor if there was any hope for him to live. The doctor said that dogs shake their heads when they hear these words. He was not afraid of dying, but of going to hell after he died. Hell was full of the evil souls he had sent there himself. He went to the church and found a woman with wings on her back. She is the angel Gabriel, who is responsible for delivering messages to God. Constantine has been killing demons to get to heaven after he dies to make good for himself. But now he is suffering from cancer. He hopes that God will extend his life for him, but Gabriel said that even if you exorcise more demons, it won't change anything, because all you do is for your own selfish reasons, so you're not destined for heaven. Constantine was furious. He yelled at Gabriel for being the one who should go to hell. Constantine walked out of the church and knelt on the side of the road coughing. Suddenly a crab crawled on his wrist. He felt a little confused, but as soon as he turned around, he was punched in the face. His attacker was a demon made up of 1,000,000 worms. The demon told the exorcist to mind his own business. Constantine had a brainstorm and ran out into the road. He used the oncoming traffic to smash the demon into pieces. The demons were coming into the world frequently. Constantine had a feeling that something big was going to happen. That night, a beautiful policewoman, Angela, comes to visit him and wanted to ask Constantine some questions. Yesterday, her sister killed herself on the rooftop. Constantine says that so what? The strange thing is that her sister was a great believer in God. She knew that suicide was a death sentence to hell. That's why Angela was so sure that there was something strange about her sister's death. He thought her case analysis was brilliant. But what does this have to do with Constantine? Angela was speechless and said, "Damn you?" After she leaves, Constantine saw a group of demons outside the window staring at Angela. So he kindly tries to help Angela find the cause of her sister's death. At that moment, the street light suddenly went out. The darkness gradually enveloped the two of them. They hurriedly approached the only lighted statue of the Virgin Mary. At the moment when the light of the statue went out, Constantine ignited the sulfur in his hand. In an instant, the demons were burned to ashes by the holy light. The street slowly returned to light. Then Constantine followed Angela to her house and prepared to cast a spell to enter hell to find Angela's sister. The man felt an itch in his eyes because he had a fly in his eye. Then he turned into a protein-rich corpse. The son of Satan was about to come to earth. The demon ignores God's covenant and directly interferes with human affairs and even kills them. Constantine, the exorcist, arrives in hell. He walks through the ruins with a crystal ball in his hand. This is his key to return to earth. He found Isabel, the sister of the policewoman, among a group of evil and terrible demons staring at him. It turns out that Isabel and Angela are twins. Isabel left a pair of wristbands and let it float in the direction of Constantine. At that moment, a large group of demons pounced on Constantine. Constantine leapt up and grabbed the wristbands. At the same time, he crushes the crystal ball. He returns to earth at the last moment when he is almost swallowed. Now he confirmed that Isabel had indeed ended her own life. And the reason why the demon was after Angela, because Angela has the same psychic powers as her sister. Only Angela has abandoned this kind of psychic ability. On the other hand, Constantine's priest friend came to the morgue to look at Isabel's body. He tried to find out the secret of Isabel's death by using his magic power, but as soon as he sees the pattern on Isabel's hand, he sinks to the ground. He ran to the convenience store and frantically poured alcohol into his mouth, but not a drop of wine could come out. At this moment, something seems to be interfering with all this. He had a feeling that he would die soon, so he carved a clue for Constantine on his own hand. A short time later, Constantine arrived at the scene and saw the pattern on his hand. He found out that it was the symbol of Satan's son, Mammon. Mammon did not want to be bound by his father, so he tried to take over the earth. He needed the body of a psychic to come to earth and save him. Isabel's body became his target, so Isabel chose to sacrifice herself to stop Mammon from coming to earth. Angela decided to restore her psychic ability to find clues in order to help her sister take revenge. She regained her psychic powers with the help of Constantine and found a coin. When Constantine saw it, she remembered Balthazar. It turns out that Balthazar has been working for Mammon. Then Constantine installed the weapon and went with Angela to look for Balthazar. Constantine gave her a protection charm before entering the door and told her to stay where she was. At that moment, Balthazar was looking in the mirror. Suddenly his body starts to twist in the mirror. The next moment the mirror explodes, causing him to be blown off the table. Then Constantine came out of the mirror and threw a bottle of holy water on his face, thus making him reveal his original form. Angela, who was waiting impatiently in the car, tried to help Constantine with her weapon. However, she left the protective charm in the car. Constantine pulled out his cross and punched him in the face. He knocked out the demon with 3 punches. Constantine forced to find out the way to bring Mammon back to life. It turns out that in addition to the body of a psychic, the resurrection of Mammon, he also needed the Spear of Destiny, which had stabbed Jesus. Constantine defeated Balthazar and dragged Angela away. Suddenly Mammon showed up and grabbed Angela. Constantine had to take his disciple to the bar. The bar is in a neutral position between heaven and hell. The owner of the bar, Midnight, has a magic chair. Constantine wants to get the bar owner's help. Midnight understands the seriousness of the situation and chooses to break the balance to help Constantine. Constantine sits in the chair and learns the whole story and found the location of Spear of Destiny. Angela flew all the way to the place where her sister fell. She was about to be possessed by the son of Satan. Constantine and her apprentice made a holy bomb together. Then the two of them went to the hospital where the demons were gathered to destroy them. He threw the cross into the water tank and it turned into a tank of holy water. Then Constantine pushed open the door and found a group of demons gathered. Constantine took out a lighter and triggered the smoke alarm. The nounces in the room spewed holy water. The holy water fell on the demons' faces and corroded and burned their bodies. They screamed and screamed. The demons' powers were weakened by the holy water. Then Constantine pulled out his holy gun. One shot followed by another shot quickly finished the demons in front of her. Angela's soul had been forced into hell. By the time Constantine found her, he was still too late. Angela's body was already possessed by Mammon. Constantine rushed to mount Angela's body and held her head to perform an exorcism. Soon the demon slowly disappeared. Angela also slowly calmed down and looked at Constantine's handsome face and smiled, but soon her smile changed to panic. It turned out that the son of Satan was still inside her. Constantine alone could not fight against the powerful son of Satan. That's when his apprentice came in handy, so they both recited the spell together. After a while, the demon in Angela's stomach finally stopped moving. The apprentice was about to praise him, but the next moment, he was pushed away by something unknown and slammed into the ceiling before falling hard to the ground. He lost his breath instantly. It seems that there are other evil forces at work here besides Mammon. Constantine was furious. He rolled up his sleeves and chanted a spell to make the demon appear immediately. As the enchantment unfolds, the guest of honor makes his appearance. The angel Gabriel stepped on Constantine's feet with a vengeance. It turns out that she helped bring the son of Satan to her because she felt that there were people here who had sinned unforgivably, and yet they are forgiven by God through prayer. That's not fair. So she wanted to make mankind feel the fear. Then she blew gently. Constantine was slammed against the door and lost consciousness. Then Gabriel walked up to Angela and prepared to summon Mammon. Constantine then prayed to God, but was slow to answer. So it picks up a piece of glass and slashes his artery. Since God didn't care about him, so it went to the devil for help. That's when Gabriel pulled out Spear of Destiny. She was about to stab it into Angela. Time was suddenly suspended. Then a pair of dirty black wolf feet slowly landed. He was Satan, the devil. It turns out that Satan had made a vow. On the day Constantine died, he must come to reap his soul himself. The two of them sat down and talked about life. When they talked about Satan's son, Mammon, Constantine reminded that Satan's son was playing with an angel next door. The angel was also holding Spear of Destiny. So Satan went to the next room. His face instantly turned pale, and he saw this cruel scene. So he took Angela away and let Gabriel's Spear of Destiny hit the floor. Gabriel immediately reacted to what had happened. She wanted to punish Satan for God. However, after her punch hit, Satan realizes that someone doesn't seem to have Gabriel's back anymore. Gabriel was mercilessly abandoned by God. Then Satan threw his son back to their old home of hell and burned Gabriel's wings. Gabriel betrayed God and could never return to heaven. Satan returned to Constantine. At this point, he made one last request. He offered his soul in exchange for Angela's sister to enter heaven. Satan smiles and agrees with him. Then he grabbed Constantine's hand and dragged him back to hell step by step. But as he dragged him, he realized that Constantine's body was getting heavier and heavier. It was like someone was trying to stop Satan. He simply threw Constantine off. Then a holy light appeared. God had come to rob the man. It turned out that Constantine's selfless act had touched God and met the requirements to enter heaven. Constantine gave Satan the middle finger in a naughty way. Satan could not bear this humiliation, so he put his hands into Constantine's lungs again and removed the cancerous material from his lungs. Satan cured Constantine of his terminal illness. Satan wanted him to live on. When the time is right, he will take Constantine's soul to hell. When he wakes up, Constantine is back to square one. He will continue to live on Earth, and Gabriel becomes an ordinary human being.